Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Sue Cooper. I'm an artist and a tutor. I work primarily in the south of England, but also in Le Marche in Italy. So I've got an art retreat coming up in June, and I shall be running a few plein air sketching groups over here as well. So I just wanted to show you some of the materials I use for my plein air sketching. Okay, so I just wanted to show you my little sketchbook kit. I take this out in my handbag. I don't have a special bag for it. I used to, but then I would find myself taking the special bag out, not using it, and then getting frustrated. So, you know, it's not much. I've got one of those handbags that are like a backpack. And I've got my water here, which I always have on me anyway. So I use this as drinking water, but also water for the watercolours. I'm using this little I'll put the link in the description, but I think it's called Tartuata or something like that. It's not got the Tamuarta, Tumuarta. So it's come apart here. I mean, it was glued. I'll re-glue it, but I mean it's in my handbag all the time, so it's got quite it gets a bit of a battering, but it's really nice. It's hardback, so it keeps the paper really nice. So none of the paper has been damaged. Each of the pages is perforated, so if you're one of these people that's just a bit nervous about putting anything in a sketchbook because you're worried about, you know, you don't want to ruin your sketchbook if it's rubbish, then you can take it out. I wouldn't recommend getting rid of anything that you put in your sketchbook, because whether it's rubbish or not, it's still memories, and it still shows your progression as you go through. So just I'll go through my sketchbook at some point, but you can see it doesn't cockle at all. And it's great for sketching and great for watercolours. So I really recommend this one, and I really like the square format, and it's got one of these little elastics that go over the top to keep it nice and safe. So recommend that. It's great value as well. I'll put it in the description. The next thing I have is a little sketch, little palette. You can see my one's quite messy. I meant to clean it actually before doing this. You can see I was obviously doing something. Oh, this is when I was in the pub the other day, and I was using the blues for the plate and the browns for the wooden table and chairs. So these are all the colours that I tend to use the most. These tube colours, so I've got them all in tubes. There's specific colours that I really like that I can't find in, like, that wouldn't necessarily be in a palette that you might buy. So for example, you might get like perhaps you have a Winsor & Newton little palette that has colours in it already. It would be quite rare that you would have this range of colours, and these are the ones that I quite like using. So sometimes I've mixed up some of the colours. You can see here I've got cadmium red, and I think that was another red that was a little bit more squished in the corner, but it's spread a little bit. It's a great little kit. It's really light. It takes up absolutely no space in my bag. It's got some good areas for mixing colours, and this bit is for putting you through your thumb. So if you're out, you can sort of properly look like a painter. These are for holding your paintbrushes. I find them a bit too small, so I don't use them, but I really recommend buying these little disposable palettes if you're into watercolours and you want to go to the next step. That's not just using, say, a Winsor & Newton little pack, but something a little bit more tailored towards you. Great little palettes. I've also got one of these, which is an expanding water pot. This is great. There's lots of different ones on the market these days. Don't know whether this one still is, but it's great. Doesn't take much space up in my bag, and yeah, I always have it in there. with my pots of water, my bottle of water. And then I have a clear pencil case. I used to have a pencil case that wasn't clear. It used to be quite frustrating because I couldn't see what was in it, basically. I have my paintbrushes. So these are my paintbrushes here. I had this little brown pouch had these brushes in, and there's 4 of them. And they're really nice, actually. They go to a lovely point. Top Maya, I think they're called. This is a number 12. And because it's covered, it just keeps them really nicely. So I've got 4 of these. I don't have all 4 in my sketch bag because they're quite similar. I think that's the only problem I would say about these paintbrushes, is they're all too similar for it to make any difference to a real painting. So I've just got these 2, quite a small one, quite a big one, and I take this is an old sword brush out. Now, don't know whether you've seen any of my videos, but I'm always raving about my Daler-Rowney sword video paintbrush, and this is a 1/4 inch sword brush. Really like it because you can use the tip for doing details, and you can use the side for doing something that's a bit more. Yep, works really well. Really like it. So this is an old one, so I don't mind it getting a bit damaged in my pencil case. So I'll put those back there. I think I've also got other little bits and pieces in my bag. Yeah, let's see. I've got one of these wax crayons. So if I want something to go over, if I want to maintain the white of something or preserve the white, then I use this clear crayon, and the water and the colour is repelled by this. So you get some really nice whites. So I also keep that in my little pouch. I've got one of these little paintbrushes that came with one of the sets that I use. I mainly use it for this really tiny little one here, but it's pretty rare that I go that small, to be honest. I've also got a water brush. Now it happens fairly often, unfortunately, that I forget my water bottle, and I've sketched something and I've got all my colours out and everything out, and I don't have anything to paint with. So this water brush is brilliant. So it's got a reserve of water in here. I don't know whether you can see very well, but you squeeze it and out comes water. Now you can squeeze it a bit, mix it with your paints. Perhaps I'll show you. So squeeze it a bit, mix it with your paints, and voila. If you want a bit more water, squeeze it, and voila. So it's good, really good if you want to have if you're on the go. I find it a little bit frustrating in terms of cleaning your brush. You need to have, in fact, I think this one actually came with a sponge. So the way that you would clean it is use it with your sponge or whatever, let out the water, and it would sort of clean itself. But I find it's just a bit, I find it frustrating to clean the brush. And because I often pick up colour from my paintings, so I've laid the colour down and perhaps I want to pick up a highlight or something, then I generally use a brush for that. And these water brushes, I don't think they're great for picking up colour. They just seem to be wet all the time, and I can't get quite the shape that I would like. So I'm not, they're great for an emergency for me. They don't match my style generally, so I tend not to use them, but I have this in my kit all the time for when I forget my water. I've got, in terms of pencils I often sketch first, and I will either use a little mechanical pencil, like so. And I use the mechanical pencils basically because because you don't have to sharpen them all the time. This one's quite light. It's a hard one. I would probably say use a B mechanical pencil if you can. so like 2B or something like that. They don't often come, these leads don't often come softer than a 2B. I think 2B is the softest I've been able to find in this kind of a lead. However, I have got this one, which is my Kohinoor clutch pencil. These leads come out, so you can buy the leads separately. This one's a 6B, you can see up here. You press the end of it to put your lead back in, and I use it for everything. It's a bit more frustrating to sharpen. I have got a sharpener. Sometimes it vaguely works to sharpen it, but more often than not I use a craft knife just to sharpen it. And it's really good because you can use the full, you know, you can hold it like this and get a really good effect with most of your lead down. So it's great for doing some shading. I've got some 2B leads as well, which I rarely use. Usually I've just got the 6B lead in here, and I basically do all my sketching with a 6B lead because I quite like the softness of it. It's rare that I would do pen first, but I do have a pen in my bag. So if there's a sketch that I like, that what I've done, but I think it needs a little bit more emphasis. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, maybe like this one. Hang on. These one, I think they all have a bit of pen. No, these ones don't. This one has pen. Let's see if the others do. No. Generally, I try and do things without pen, but if I don't have much time to paint and I can't get the definition within the paint, then I'll go over with one of these. This is a Faber-Castell Pit Artist pen. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing that right. And it's a small one. So if I do my painting, I think it still needs something, a bit of oomph, then I'll go over with pen often. It's pretty rare that I'll go over with pen first and then watercolour it. I usually see how it goes with the watercolour first. Finally, I've got one of these, which looks disgusting, but it's really useful. It's a kneadable rubber. So you can get your kneadable rubber into a really fine point, like so. I've got blue hands now from the watercolour. And it's quite firm as well, so you can get really quite thin lines with your kneadable eraser, or you can pad it out and get really big, you know, thick areas of rubbings out, and it works really well, I find. So, and they last for ages. So this looks really messy and dirty. I use it with charcoal, but it still maintains it still rubs out, even though it looks disgusting. So perhaps I'll treat myself to one for Christmas this year, but generally it's, you know, I think it's still working, still going strong. And then I've got a pencil sharpener in my bag, you know, just in case. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions regarding plein air sketching or your kit or just sketchbooking in general, please do let me know. You can let me know in the comments or on Instagram. I'm at Sue Cooper Artist. On Facebook, I'm Sue Cooper Artist. Pretty consistent across all the social media channels, so you can get in touch with me however you would like. I'd love to see some of your sketchbook stuff as well, so if you've got anything that you would like to show me, then please tag me in Instagram at Sue Cooper Artist. If you like this video, there will be more, so please, if you could subscribe and like this video, I would be very grateful, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.